Hello everybody and welcome back to Mark's Allotment. It's a sunny but breezy Friday the 24th of August, I believe. Right, so I'm just going to turn the camera around. The reason I'm turning the camera around is simply because I won't have to talk so loud against the wind, because it's quite windy here today. Right, so first of all, a big apology to everybody for not posting anything for such a long time. As some of you probably know, my wife's not been well, and so back and forth to hospital, etc. And then we had this heck of a long spell of long dry weather, and basically I gave up at that point because I couldn't get over to water. There's no water over here, so I've just left things. So what I plan to do today is I'm going to give you a quick tour of the plot to see what state it's in, because I haven't touched it in goodness knows how long. And then I'm going to dig up some potatoes from my experiment, which is the hay and compost, but I'll show you that shortly anyway. So yes, everything's growing like mad. Now these are butternut squashes, as you probably can tell, and they've just gone rampant. I've tried to train them up this trellis as best I can, and it does work. But I think I need I need bigger trellises, because it's just taking over everything. I don't know if you can see in there. There's some nice beauties coming in there. I mean, they're monsters. So they've done well out of this weather. There's another one in there. Oh gosh, I got quite a few here. So yes, they're doing well. Perpetual beet. This works well again. It's a replacement for spinach. But you cut it, it comes again. Brilliant. This cowbridge compost that I put down, it works well. I mean, as I say, I haven't been over here for 2 or 3 months maybe. And yes, there's some weed coming up, but it's hardly anything. It's kept the weed down a treat for me. Lettuce is going to seed. I don't know if I can collect the seed off that. Now, surprisingly, and I do apologise, I think this film could be a little bit long, but anyway, surprisingly, these brassicas here, I haven't sprayed at all, and I'm surprised that the cabbage white, etc., haven't got to them. But these curly kale are looking really healthy. And here we have the broccoli, sprouting broccoli, and these are some cabbages, and I'm absolutely amazed why they haven't been, well, I mean, there's a few holes in them, but I haven't sprayed them at all. I'm really grateful for that. So I think maybe this kale's planted the kale a little bit too close together. Yeah, what does it matter anyway? It's doing well. Gosh, yeah, it's going into marrows. Yes, it's got quite a few going here. Now this is, do you know what? I'm beginning to wonder if following the rules of gardening is any point, because these cabbages have been in here since last year, and it's still viable. I don't understand what's going on. Oh, you're my friend coming to see me now. Hello there. Are you gorgeous, and you? You're gonna come keep me company, right? Yeah, as I say, I mean, I don't understand what's anyway. Right. Oh, that's strange. These are leeks. Well, and when I last looked at them, they were really damaged by the leek moth. But it's bizarre. Unless there's somebody coming down and spraying them for me without me realising it, but which has happened actually. Some people have had, some of my friends on the plot have come down and sprayed cabbages, my bits and pieces. know some of you might say, oh, well, no, I wouldn't want that because, you know, frankly, I don't really mind. It doesn't bother me that much. But I try not to spray as much as possible, or as little as possible. Sweet corn, not very good this year. These look like as if they're ready to harvest now. The tassels on the top have gone nice and brown. I might take a couple back foot with me today. Peas this year, absolute disaster. Yes, I don't know quite what to do about that. For next year, that is. Obviously, my broad beans were there, and the odd seeds. Now they've sprouted again now. So all I'll do is I'll just pull the plants up and just dump them. It'll help feed the ground. Beetroot, yeah, I've not done too badly on them. Yeah, I've got quite a few feeds, but as I say, the biggest problem is getting over here with the watering. I need to stake that fennel up. Yes, as you can see, this mulch that I've put down, it's done wonders. It's either got weed killer in it and it's keeping the stuff in, or it's just the mulch. Anyway, wind's getting up. Now then, swede, they've taken a bit of damage, but they seem to be okay. And then I have planted seed in these other 2 rows up here and extending there, but they haven't come because, as I say, we've had such long spells of dry weather that, you know, all these containers are empty. Now then, this is where my Charlotte second early potatoes were. I've dug all them up, and I've got, I mean, you know, I was digging them up and eating them as I was going anyway, but I've dug the whole lot up now, and I've got one potato sack's worth of potatoes out of it, which is not a very good crop really, but because of the lack of water and etc., that's why I didn't have a good crop this year. Disappointed with the carrots, although they are coming now. I had a few out of there, but this is the only problem with growing stuff in containers like this, is they don't have the wider access to water, so they were drying out. Although these have come up now, so I might just check those over. Parsnips seem to be doing okay. Yes, they need thinning really, but frankly I'm not going to bother now. I just haven't got the time, but yeah, they're doing. I did thin a few out, the little ones, but so they're so they seem to be doing okay. Now, I was watching on one film, and they was trying to get the carrots out of the ground, you know, without digging them, and I thought, and they were struggling, and I said, oh, it's hard work. But and I did post the comment, and I said, well, look, I'll do it with this one because there's nothing there, and it's not going to come to anything. Oh yeah, I know. Come on now. Go down by there in a minute. I know you want to be on shot. Right, so let's assume that's a carrot in the hard ground. It doesn't. This is why I grow it in peat, because they pull up so easily. But what he should have done was just get the carrot and push down the carrot slow a little bit, about half a centimetre, and then pull, and then it comes out. I mean, obviously that's not a proper carrot, but what it does, it opens the hole a bit, and they've only got to push it down a half centimetre, and they'll come out nicely. Anyway, right. So as I say, excuse me. The plan is now to get these potatoes out. These are main crop Desiree, so I can compare the two, and then I won't show you me digging them out, because that's me just digging them out. Don't want to see that. Main crop in here. Desiree again. As you can see, the weed is taking over. I'm getting lots of this is James Grieve. These are ready. Obviously these apples are fallen because I think the tree's under stress, but I think they should be alright for a bit of apple sauce. So I'll collect those later. This is my new experiment here. It's grown off this tree stump that the stump that I hacked down. So they're growing well now. So I've got to start thinking about training these along the wires. It seems to be doing well, so I'm pleased with that. I'll give this comfrey a good cut down now, and then just lay it down around on the floor. That'll help feed the trees, the apple tree. So that's that. Now, this allotment of mine is like a jungle down here. Some lovely collies come in, but they didn't come to anything. My poor wife's flower bed is just it's just a mess, so not quite sure what to do about that. She assures me a lot of those things in there are perennial, so in theory I could use that compost there, or get some fresh compost and just smother it, and the flowers will still come through, and hopefully that'll kill off the weed. I'll cut most of the weed down, but we'll see if that will work. Same with all of this, the strawberries. I'm gonna dig as many strawberries as I can up, put this compost down, give it a mulch, and then replant. And then the idea is then the strawberries will, as you can see here, they're travelling and putting suckers down. That's planted itself, so I'll let it do that around here, and then just dig up and just thin them out as I need to. Soft fruits, well, I say there was so much to do down here, I just didn't have the time. Goodness knows what this is. Just started growing. Beans, runner beans. I got one wigwam at home, runner beans, which has been enough for us. So it's pointless me growing runner beans down here, because what I grow at home is more than enough for what we need. And I don't know if I've mentioned it in past videos. I don't like these frozen. I like the green, the stick beans, you know, the climbing French, which the pod is like a roundish shape, and they seem to freeze better than these. Tried growing them this year, they didn't come. Another apple tree, I've had all the apples off this now because it's an early variety. I've forgotten the name of this one. Anyway, but that needs pruning as well. Some more courgettes. Now these are Brussels sprouts, so we'll see if they come alright. Who knows? Oh right, what's this here? I didn't notice this before. Well, this is growing up. Trouble is, it's too late now. Nothing's going to come of it. Now these are the Belotti beans, I believe. Nice, and they're starting to, they've got the seed in there. They need to be, in fact, what I may do, I may just pull up the root, and then that way the plant will die and all these pods will dry off, and I can use those seeds in the cooking, etc., which is what I grew them for originally. As you see, absolutely a mess of weed now. Oh dear. So yes, like a jungle. Rhubarb, looking like a gunnera plant. And if you don't know what a gunnerer plant is, it's basically, it looks like a giant rhubarb. You can't eat it as far as I'm aware, but when you see them, they look like rhubarb plants. Oh, yes, this needs to come up because this will be, oh dear, full of seed. Right. So what I'm going to do now, it's too much here to me to tackle all at the same time. So I'm just going to dig these potatoes up to see what result has come of my experiment. So I'm going to shut off shortly and rejoin you later. Bye for now. Okay, welcome back everybody. So just dig up, as you can see, these pallet collars. Now this side was one pallet collar filled to the brim with this sort of compost here. This side was 2 pallet collars depth filled with hay. In the one with the hay there was 3 plants, potatoes, and on this side I think it was 4 potatoes that I planted. So on the left is the hay crop experiment, and on the right here is the cowbridge compost experiment. And obviously there's more in there, but there was 4 plants, so I would say it's about the same result quantity wise. Frankly, I'd be off one plant I'd be looking at, maybe in a normal year, be looking about that much off one plant. Anyway, couple of things on it. On the hay experiment, what I didn't do was what I should have done, I think, was to put the seed potato on the surface. I actually planted them just in the soil, but I think I should have just planted them on the surface, and the same with this side as well. That way then I wouldn't have had to dig up the soil to get at the potatoes. So that's one mistake I made, I think, in this experiment. But also, as far as the crop return, this area is not particularly fertile anyway, because I haven't put any stuff on it for years, and nothing's going to grow if the ground is lacking in nutrients, etc. And coupled with that, the long period of sunny weather, no rain, so it's difficult to judge whether this experiment was a success or not. As for no dig, it wasn't a success because obviously I had to dig to get the potatoes out, which sort of defeats the object, I know. Duh. Anyway, so next year what I will obviously do, I'm gonna, if I do this hay system again, the Ruth Stout method, is to put the seed potato on the surface and just cover with hay. More to that in a minute. So I got 1, 2, 3 rows of main crop to come to dig up. I need to get on with it really, because the slugs are starting to appear. Right, a bit of a disaster. My handle off my potato fork broke away. I'm not surprised because it's full of woodworm. There we are. Right, so what about next year for potatoes? Well, obviously I've got a plan written down where what I've planted where in it, etc. But this is an obvious plot because obviously I've just put the broad bean stalks, just flattened them down and let them just rot as much as possible there. So this is where the broad beans were. This is where I think I will put either brassicas or potatoes next year. I don't know, because obviously potatoes you can plant in April, I believe. So if I grow broad beans in, well, whenever I grow the broad beans next, I could potentially plant them in February, and by the time I get to plant potatoes I could chop them down, and there'll be enough nitrogen off the roots of the broad bean stalks to feed the potatoes. And then I'll, as I say, just put them on the surface and just Not sure whether I'll use pallet collars to contain the material, because obviously I've raised the beds. Now this is potentially a drawback with raised beds, especially up in this plot, because it's quite dry up here anyway, because everything, obviously this is the highest point and everything drains away quickly. Now because I've dug trenches, it means the beds are drying out more quickly than perhaps they should do. Now the only option is either to flatten them back out again, which I'm reluctant to do because it was a lot of work, or just keep putting material on like I've done between the beds, and hopefully that'll hold the moisture in. Anyway, I haven't decided on that, but that'll come soon. So just to recap then, for me, for my wife and my son, 3 adults, just going to turn the camera in a minute. For me and my wife and my son, 3 adults, we usually need about 3 to 4 sacks of potatoes stored over winter to keep us going through to the following year. And I say I've got 1 sack at the moment, and I know there's not going to be 3 sacks worth of potatoes in those 3 rows. I may be wrong, but I very much doubt it. So I'll end up buying potatoes, but that's what I try and aim for, quantities wise. So next year, another year, we'll see if we grow the root stock method. As I say, all this digging is absolutely knackering. Right. Hopefully when I next see you, a lot of this will be cleared out, and that'll be that. Right, I'm waffling on now, so anyway, I'll sign off for now, and any comments, please leave comments, etc., and good or bad, no swearing, mind. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye for now.